All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Quadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and bishops at Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect on the highways and hedges pushing the truth. It's your brother Rabbi Knapp coming out with a lesson. Lord's will satisfying. Okay, as a matter of fact, where my phone at, man? I was watching the news, and I guess Elam finally bombed Pakistan, man. So that's war kicking off, man. All right. Now Elam are the so-called East Indians. Okay, just like when you read about Elam in the Bible, they also go back to the Persians. Okay, the Carmanians in the Apocrypha. That's who that's talking about, man. Okay, and we know according to the Bible, hey, World War III is coming, man. This isn't a joke. People actually lost their lives yesterday, or was it today? Who knows? Because we're in a different time. We're hours ahead. Okay, Revelation chapter 11. In verse 14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Okay, so all these nations, the third world war, all these nations are going to be coming up, fighting up against each other. Okay, and that's what the third world war is talking about. You had the first war, the second world war. That word woe in that scripture means death and destruction. Okay? And what causes more death and destruction more so than war? So that's what that's talking about. The third woe cometh quickly. And that's what we constantly keep an eye out for. These different scenarios that are going on in the world. They're going to bring about that the Lord's word. This is what we keep and watch for. Revelation 8 in verse 13, and I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, woe, 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 to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound. Exactly, woe, 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 man. That's all wars, man. 3 woes, and 2 have already passed. It's the book of Revelation. Chapter 9 and verse 12. 1 woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. Exactly. 1 woe has passed, and behold, there comes 2 woes thereafter. Okay, and that's the first world war. Okay, so we're telling you about these things. We're blowing the trumpet, and this world war is ultimately gonna be against Russia in his alliances, and in America in their alliances. But America's alliance is actually going to switch up on them and join the other side and shoot missiles on this place. Like it's prophesied to happen in the Bible. Okay? Revelation chapter 15 and 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. So the wrath of the Most High is coming in the form of pestilence, famines, destruction, man. Utterly destruction. The most important one is those thermonuclear missiles. Okay? That's what's going to happen to Babylon. Revelation chapter 16 and verse 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. Okay? So these different angels, these different vials, these different judgments, that's all they are. Okay? And they consist of great death, man. Okay? Like it says, in the book of Second Esdras, people shall be taken in great numbers. Okay, let me see. Is that Second Esdras 8? Let me jump there real quick. Second Esdras chapter 8. And no, it's not that. I think. Let me see. Taken in great number. And what do you think's gonna how is that gonna come to pass? Second Esdras 5 and 1. Nevertheless is coming the tokens. Behold, the days shall come, that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. So we should be building ourselves up now, man. The land being barren of faith, you got it. That's the only currency that the Lord is actually accepted. Okay, He's not going to take your silver and your gold, man. Okay, And neither is these other nations when it comes to Babylon. They're not going to regard silver and gold. That's what he's doing with these Medes. Isaiah 13 in verse 17, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So that's talking about those Russians, man. They're not going to delight in coming up with an agreement with America, okay? They're not going to have any type of, different type of, they're not going to care about what America got to say in that time, man. They're going to meet them with nukes. They're going to be blowing up people, and there ain't going to be no negotiation, okay? There ain't going to be nothing to talk about. They're tired of talking with Babylon, man. There was plenty of talks before because all they do is talk and stab you in the back. Okay? That's all they do. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 11. In verse 13, in the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted, and gave glory to the Most High of heaven. Exactly, man. They gave glory to the God of heaven. Because the only way you're going to escape these things is your relationship with Him, man. So if your eyes were able to see that destruction, of course you're going to give glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua for putting you in a lot that was able to see what was going to happen, man. Okay? That's beautiful. Okay? The book of Matthew, chapter 13, in verse number 16. It says, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. So if you understand what's going on, these prophecies, the Lord shared them with you. Hey, you're blessed, man. Count yourself blessed. Because the fact that you can actually store up riches in heaven, that you understand the truth. Because not everybody can get this truth, man. No matter how many people you talk to about this thing, they can't even get the name. They don't understand the Lord's Hebrew. They don't understand any of these things. Neither can they get into the mindset that they're actually the Israelites. Even though we tell them day in and day out, week in and week out, month in, month out, year in and year out, decade in, decade out. It still happens, man. But who's listening? The so-called white man, he listens. He actually listens more than you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. He actually covets your blessing. He's actually in his blessing now, but he understands that there is a God, even though he denies him through his actions. But he's doing everything he needs to do on the left-hand side to fulfill the Heavenly Father's will. And that's exactly what he's doing. Matthew 13 and 17, for verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Exactly, they didn't have that understanding of what was actually being interpreted. Okay, when they were describing these nuclear missiles and these different events, they weren't really understanding as much as we have now. Now we understand what those thermonuclear missiles are. We understand who's coming up as the Medes and the Prince of Rosh in Ezekiel 30, the 38th chapter. We understand all these things. Okay, they wish they could see these things, and those prophets are here today, seeing them, but they don't know who they are in these last days. We just know that the prophets are the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So through faith, we understand that they're here today. 1 Corinthians 14 and verse 34. Salakia, in verse 32, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So that shows you that everyone's back in their lot. The same thing you were doing the fourth time, you're doing right now. So if you just out being a 2/3 Negro, hey, that's probably how you were in the past. Okay, if you the type to scoff and come up against this word, that's how you were back then in the wilderness. You're probably an Israelite, because y'all to scoff at this the most. See, if we told the heathen, hey man, y'all gonna make it, hey, they will repent, man. Just like the scripture said, but this is how we know that y'all are those Israelites, because you're rebellious, you're stiff-hearted, you don't listen to the word, no matter how many times you hear it. No matter how many times you see people on these highways and hedges, y'all think, oh, this is an identity crisis with the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. No, it's an identity crisis with the rest of the world. If y'all don't recognize who the Israelites are, something's wrong with you. Okay, that's how the Lord works. He works with small numbers, man. Okay, he created a little sanctuary in his last time. So not many people are going to believe the truth, man, because we live in a world full of lies. Okay, and then that's why ultimately they're going to be destroyed. Okay, because they got that covering cast. Let me grab that. It's the book of Isaiah 25:7, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. So that covering cast is a lack of ignorance over who you are biblically. Just like Esau, he calls himself white, and he calls you so-called Negroes, or mostly you Negroes, he calls y'all black. Okay, so that's a social construct. That's not how the Israelites were described in the Bible. That's not how Esau was described in the Bible. See, Esau don't want you to know who he is, because if you know who you are, you're going to know who he is. You're going to know he's the fucking devil, man. Genesis 25 and verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, so he was red, man. What nation of people are predominantly red in this place? It's you fucking Europeans, you Caucasians, man. Y'all are the red people, man. Okay, not the Native Americans. It's you, man, because your blood shines through your skin, man. That's why we can see you. Okay, you fit the mark of Cain. In Genesis, the 3rd chapter. This is what that was talking about. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3. In verse 9, and the Lord Yahweh called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And he, Salakia, no, not 3, 4. Genesis 4:11. Actually, I'll start up a little bit. Genesis 4 in verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. And that's what Esau does, man. He's a man of the field. And that's where he rose up against Abel. Okay, and that's his playground, so to speak. It's the book of Genesis 25. In verse number 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So it's showing you the two different types of spirits. Abel had a different spirit than Cain. Just like you so-called white people got a different spirit than Jake. It's the book of Genesis 25 and 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So we know Abel would have kicked Cain's ass, man. So we had to sneak up behind him and stab him in the back. Now it doesn't say he stabbed him in the back, but through the spirit, that's the type of snake that's what a snake does. That's the stereotype of a snake. That he's gonna stab you in the back. Okay? So we know through the spirit that Esau he was a cunning hunter. He was subtle. Just like the serpent in the garden. So 1 + 1 = 2, man. That's the type of person he is. Thank you. Okay? Yes, that's the incense. This book of Genesis, chapter 4. In verse 9, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? Exactly, man. You're the older brother. You should know where your little brother is. He was with you. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which have opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. Exactly, man. You cursed from the earth. All right? This is talking about Esau, man. That spirit that's in that man is in the so-called white man. Okay? It's the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, in verse 4 in the NLT. Look at the proud, they trust in themselves, and their lives are crooked, but the righteous will live by their faithfulness to the Heavenly Father. Exactly, man. You're not upright. All right? You're crooked, man. You were created this way. Wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest. They open their mouths as wide as the grave, and like death, they are never satisfied, in their greed, they will have gathered up many nations and swallowed up many peoples. And that we can see who has done that, who has fulfilled that. That's Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Okay? And the reason why we have these wars, going back to World War I, World War II, is because of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Okay? It's just, it is what it is. You know, regardless if you think, you know, this is racism or what, hey, we just using words. But hey, what is the evidence prove? You want to blame the witness for giving the testimony instead of blaming the defendant for the charges. Hey, according to Esau's court system, you're innocent until proven guilty. Well, hey, we got the evidence. We're proving that he's guilty. Okay? Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4. And they went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. So he was red. He was here to take peace from the earth. And it was given unto him a great sword. So who was that talking about? Why is there no peace from the earth? Somebody was appointed to take peace from the earth. Okay? And we're telling you that it's the so-called white man Esau Edom. He's here to take peace away from the earth. So all this peace talk that he's talking is in vanity. This is the book of Genesis 27 and verse number 41. And Esau hated Jacob. It's lucky, I always do that. Genesis 27 and verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Exactly, you're going to break his yoke from off thy neck. Now, ultimately, that came about in 1 Kings, the 11th chapter. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's start here. Because we ruled over Esau under King David, King Solomon, but that's when he split. 2 Samuel 8 and verse 14. And he put garrisons in Edom. Throughout all Edom put he garrisons, and all they of Edom became David's servants. And the Lord preserved David whithersoever he went. So he preserved David. Esau was a servant to King David. Okay, the house of David, man. He was serving us. Okay, and then David died. Then 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 14. And the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the king's seed in Edom. Exactly. So after the split of this is the beginning of the split of King Solomon. He started raising adversaries up to him, just like what's happening with the so-called white man now. He's being raised. He's getting adversaries raised up to him. All these different nations are coming up against him now. They're making alliances with Russia, okay? So they can be strong in these last days, man. Okay. So after that, I'll just keep reading. 1 Kings 11 and 15. For it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab, the captain of the host, was gone up to bury the slain after he had smitten every male in Edom. For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel until he had cut off every male in Edom. So we were tearing them up, man. Not just putting garrisons in there, but actually slaughtering their men. So Esau understands this history. Okay, this is why he can't sleep when he sees the house of David being raised up in these last days, because he understands these spirits, man. That's why he's accusing us day in and day out, trying to kill us, man. But the Lord is going to justify us through the blood of the Lamb, okay? This is the book of 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 17. That Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, to go into Egypt, Hadad being yet a little child. And they arose out of Midian and came to Paran, and they took men with them out of Paran, and they came to Egypt unto Pharaoh king of Egypt, which gave him a house and appointed him victuals and gave him land. So this is David's adversary to King Solomon that the Lord raised up. So he ran out and went to Egypt. Okay? How prophetic that is. Because we know during the Maccabean period, Ptolemy was raised up in Egypt too. And look at now, you're in Egypt again, and that's why you got a pyramid on your dollar bill, man. It's all coming back again, man. Okay? 1 Kings 11 and 18, and they arose out of Midian and came to Paran, And they took men with them out of Paran, and they came to Egypt unto Pharaoh of Egypt, which gave him a house and appointed him victuals and gave him land. And Hadad found great favor in the sight of Pharaoh, so that he gave him to wife the sister of his own wife, the sister of Taphanes the queen. And the sister of Taphanes bare him Junabath his son, whom Taphanes weaned in Pharaoh's house. And Junabath was in Pharaoh's household among the sons of Pharaoh. And when Hadad heard in Egypt that David slept, meaning he died, with his fathers, and that Joab, the captain of the host, was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, let me depart, that I may go to my own country. Then Pharaoh said unto him, but what hast thou lacked with me, that, behold, thou seekest to go to thine own country? And he answered, nothing. Howbeit, let me go in any wise. Yeah, so, and long story short, he went to Syria, man. Oh, that's what I want to read up to. And the Most High stirred him up another adversary, Rezon, and son of Eliadah, which fled from his lord Hadadezer, king of Zobah. And he gathered men unto him, and became captain over a band when David slew them of Zobah. And they went to Damascus, and dwelt therein, and reigned in Damascus. And he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Solomon, beside the mischief that Hadad did. And he abhorred Israel and reigned over Syria. So that's what the Lord do. All these adversaries started coming up before he took you down. Okay? But what did he do before that? He sent a prophet to him, man. And the prophet met with Jeroboam and ripped up the garment, man, and then he split the kingdom like that way. It was a prophecy. Okay? But think about what type of men these prophets were back then. If you ran into him and he's taking your clothes and ripping them up into pieces, man. Imagine how violent that is, man. Someone came up to you and started ripping your clothes, man. You're going to want to fight him. But these people knew they better let him do what he came to do. But that's what the Lord does. He'll raise up a prophet before he takes your kingdom down. Okay, so that's what he did with Hadad the Edomite. And he said he caused much mischief, man. Just like a damn Edomite. 2 Kings. As a matter of fact, let me grab this in Genesis 27. And so that's what we doing, man. Coming against us, it's like it. It's like it. 2 Kings chapter 8. 2 Kings chapter 8 and verse 20. In the days Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah and made a king over themselves. So that's it, man. We were their kings, man. But he broke that yoke, fulfilling the prophecy in Genesis 27th chapter. Okay? So showing you that the Lord's word doesn't go out void. It's going to do exactly what he told it to do. Okay? And it's prophesied that Esau, man, you're going into captivity. Okay? Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And who led the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans into captivity? Esau, Edom. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And who killed with the sword? Esau, Edom. That's his blessing. He killed with the sword throughout all these different nations. He's the reason why India and Pakistan going up against each other, man. They're the same people. I mean, that's Ishmael mixed in there with Elam, just like the Persians, Elam mixed with Ishmael. But they're still the same people. Okay? A lot of the Elamites are over there. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Here's our patience. Here's the faith of the saints, man. These prophecies being fulfilled is a faith builder, man. So when we start to see these nations fighting up against each other, we know that it's time. And then when you look at where Elam was, the things he was targeting was I think he targeted a mosque in Pakistan. Okay? So who dwells in the mosque, man? That's where these idols are at. So he's attacking them where it actually hurts, just like we're doing with the so-called white man, where it actually hits the most. showing you there's a spiritual aspect to this, and ultimately it's the Lord. Here it is, the nation that got thousands of gods is bombing your synagogue, man. Okay, or your mosque, trying to take it down. And then you look in Jerusalem, there's fights between the mosque and the temples over there. Okay, all these fighting, but it's a spiritual battle, man. Ultimately, it's the Lord. Okay, taking them down. Let's jump over to Jeremiah. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50:1. The word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations, and publish and set up a standard. Publish and conceal not. Say Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded. Her images are broken in pieces. Exactly, your images are broken in pieces. Because when the truth comes out, it shatters that false reality that these idols are given, because they're fake, they're false, man. That's why he's trying to create some type of digital idol, man, that can give you answers and stuff. He's gonna trust in his technology, but ultimately that's nothing too. Because the Lord made the wisdom foolish in this world, man. So you're gonna be asking a computer that you program for answers, and it's gonna lead to your destruction. Okay, so that's what Esau is about. He is as death. I read that in the NLT, but let me get it in the KJV. That's what he is, man. He can't produce anything that leads to life. That's not the wisdom he was given. That wisdom was given to Yasharallah, which is the nation of Israel. Habakkuk 2:4 in the KJV. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So we're living by faith, man. And it's a gift from the Most High. So the fact that he gave you faith to believe in this thing, hey, hey, man, you should be diligently seeking the Lord 10 times more. This faith, he's going to increase you, man. But you got to get it. You got to put in the work. Okay? Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So he is as death, man. And that's what his ways lead to. It leads to you being destroyed ultimately. Okay, so you don't want to be in that mindset of a damn Edomite in these last days, because his ways going to lead to death. His ways lead to a fast decision that's the worst decision you can make. Making right now decisions, or in the moment type of decisions, man. That's the spirit of an Edomite. But he made a society for all of you to be like him, so you can make the same decisions as him and lose. Okay? So he can make you lose, man. He wants you to know how it feels to be a loser. Okay? That's why he's making you soft, making you weak, because he knows a man shall be precious, more precious than fine gold. Okay, as it says in as the golden wedge of Ophir. That's who the Lord's looking for. He's not looking for some soft-ass, weak-ass man that don't even want to be a man. That'd rather be a girl. Okay? And we're trying to tell you to wake up out of that, put off that weak nature, man. Okay? You gotta put it off. Matter of fact, I ain't even finished this in Genesis the 4th chapter. Let me finish this up. Genesis 4 in verse 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. Exactly, you're a fugitive and you're a vagabond. You're a fugitive because you're you're trying to run away from this judgment that the Lord has had for you for all these years, all these generations. And you're a vagabond because you're never at home. You're not in Edom. You're in everybody else's land though. But you refuse to go to the nation of Edom, but you want to make the whole world Edom by the way you build your buildings. A bunch of caves, man. It's like you dwelling in the clefts of a rock. That's how he wants you to live, man. Just like him. Get all the way in that Edomite mindset that he got. Genesis 4 in verse 13. And Cain said unto the Lord Yahweh, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Exactly, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Okay? And he wasn't even done. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. Exactly, from his face shall I be hid. That's why he don't understand this truth, man. Okay, because when you read the book of Ecclesiastes, it tells you that wisdom causes your face to shine, man. Ecclesiasticus chapter 8 and verse 1. Who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, in the boldness of his countenance, Salakia, in the boldness of his face shall be changed. Exactly. So wisdom causes your face to shine. If he said, from your face I'll be hid, so he can't actually ever come into this truth. He gonna stay in the darkness, man. He gotta stay outside of the light. Okay, that's the fate of an Edomite, and that's why you following him is gonna lead to you in the lack of understanding. Genesis 4 and 14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. Exactly, everyone that finds you shall slay you. And that's what's gonna happen. Okay, ultimately, it's all spiritual, man. It's all spiritual. Okay, let's go grab that. As a matter of fact, it says you're gonna be as the chase roe. Okay, which is like a gazelle. Okay, Isaiah 13 and 14, and it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. So that's what's gonna happen, man. And you're starting to see that. Salakia. You're starting to see that now, man. You're starting to see that Esau is already trying to get people out of here. Yesterday I was watching the news. He said he's paying some of these immigrants, hey, I'll give you $1,000 to self-deport, man. Well, guess what, Esau? You gonna be as the chase roe the more you start to be exposed. Okay? The Edomites, because this is his curse. It's coming to him. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 4, in verse 14 in the end. It says, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. So he set this mark upon Cain, man. Okay, so what is that telling you? It's telling you that Cain was a so-called black man at once. Esau, it wasn't about your skin, man. It's your spirit. Okay? This is Genesis, the 4th chapter. Then you coming out red all over like a hairy garment in Genesis, the 25th chapter is because of the mark of Cain. Showing you this, hey, that spirit is within this body, man. Now, there's some of us that look like Esau because of the mixture. So we got to know, we got to test the spirit by the spirit. We know Cain is going to be hid from the face of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Okay? He might come and dwell for a little bit, talk about what he has to say about the Lord, but in all actuality, it's not going to resonate with him because this condemns the so-called white man. Okay? So this isn't something that he's going to want to stay in. Okay? As a matter of fact, let me grab this in 2 Thessalonians. Let's grab that there, man. Because that's what this word does, man. It's confounding his ass, man. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Exactly, you're going to destroy him with the brightness of his coming, man. Okay? That light, man, which is Yahushua, ultimately, he's going to try to get away from him. He's going to try to hide. He's going to try to go into the ground, into the air, into the mountains. But he's not going to get away from the Lamb, man. The Lamb is coming to smite his ass. That's him being a fugitive and a vagabond. Okay? First Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 26. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. Exactly, you, Esau. Ultimately death, because he is as sin, man. He's the one he's death. We're going to defeat death, specifically death, meaning we're not going to die anymore, but he's the last enemy. He's the one that needs to be destroyed. He's the one he's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. Okay? Let's grab that. Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 7, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Yeah, when are you going to bring this end, Lord? And bring the nation of Israel into power? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, and when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Okay, you read that in the book of Genesis, the 25th chapter, man. He held the heel of Esau, man. That's prophecy. And for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that follows. So there was no other hand holding the heel of Esau except the Israelite man, Jacob. Okay? Literally the Israelite man. His name was changed to Jacob. Changed to Jacob. His name was changed to Israel. And I believe it was Genesis 32. Let me grab it. The book of Genesis, chapter 32. In verse 28, and he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with the Most High, and with men, and hast prevailed. So we're going to prevail against you, man. Okay, we're going to ultimately, all these things that are written in the book, all these blessings, all of the goodness of the scriptures, all Deuteronomy 1 through 14, that's all coming to Israel. And then you getting all these curses, according to Deuteronomy 30 and 7. Let's grab that. Deuteronomy chapter 30. And we're starting to see that now with these different beefs he's fighting, man. All these heathen coming against him. His plans ain't working like they're supposed to work. His enchantments ain't working like they're supposed to work. He got all these enchantments. He got Diddy going to court now, right? He got, he's killing Jeffrey Epstein's eyewitness, these witnesses that are supposed to expose him. He's, what else he got going on, man? Just mad scandals. Scandal after scandal after scandal. Oh, I'm going to release the Jeffrey Epstein files and then he doesn't. Oh, I'm going to release the John F. Kennedy files and it's the same shit you heard before. I'm going to do something with the MLK files and that's the same shit too. All this shit, man. We know you killed them, nigga. You're a damn fool. No matter how you did it, you did it. We know you did it. You're the damn devil. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 7. And the Lord thy God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So all these curses are going to follow you. Everything you've seen the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans go through, you're going to go through. Deuteronomy 28, and they're starting to, happen right now. Deuteronomy 28, in verse number 25, the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Exactly, and you ain't winning your battles, man. You can't even take the fucking Houthis out, man. If you're so great and powerful, why are you bombing schools and shit? If you that cruel and that wicked, why you just blow the whole fucking place up? That just shows you that the Lord's controlling this damn devil. He can't kill where he don't got the power to kill like you think he does, man. The Lord's controlling his ass. If he had that power, if he don't care about bombing schools, bombing innocent people who ain't even got no weapons, then he should just blow that whole country up. What's preventing him from doing that? It's the Lord, man. Okay? We can get that in Revelation, the 7th chapter. It goes into that. Showing Job, the 2nd chapter. This devil don't got the power like you think he does, man. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua got all the power. Revelation chapter 7 and 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. Exactly. So the winds are talking about that these different The wind is talking about the thermonuclear destruction that's being held back from these different nuclear-capable countries. They should have been bombed each other. Pakistan and India, they're not going to bomb each other unless the Lord wants it to happen, man. Okay? This is all prophesied to happen. They hate each other since the beginning of time. So long ago. When did the British go in there and divide those people in that way? Okay? You got to ask yourself these things. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. See, whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Now here's another angel saying, hold on. No. We're not going to do that just yet. Who gave him that authority to go and tell those other angels not to do so? Because he was coming in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. Telling them, listen, man, thus saith the Lord. Hold that wind, man. So the Lord's in control of all these things. Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. So that's what he's waiting for. It's all on the Lord's time when he wants to destroy this place with the beast of destruction. It's all going to come to pass, but hey, people need to be sealed. Not everyone knows the name, okay? And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So everyone's not going to get the name, man. And it's not for everybody to get this word. They're going to believe God loves everybody. They're going to believe that what they believe in, man. But all that's coming to an end. We're going to see whose God is real, man. If God is real, okay? If all this is all vanity, you're going to see, okay? But most of the world's not going to have that faith to believe in what we're saying up here. It's only for the elect of Israel. For these 144,000 in the large multitude, the 1/3. Okay, there's another. The 144 represents the elect of the nation of Israel, the elite of that nation, man, the elite of the elite. Okay, and then you have the elite too. Everybody, the 1/3 is the elite, man. All right. Those who are going to receive salvation on this side. But 2/3 of the nation of Israel, y'all going to die in great number. Like it said in 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter. 2nd Esdras 5:2. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. So that iniquity is going to be increased, man. The shit that you seen yesterday and the day before, all of that's going to be increased, man. All the way up to the point of Jacob's trouble, where you got to be faced with this MOTB, where you got to be faced with these different military groups that are going to be out here, with these civil wars that are going to be out here, man, with these different nations fighting up against each other. And no matter how many guns you got, you can go to so-called white man's route and go buy a bunch of guns and go hide in the woods in Maine and go shoot at beer cans with black people's faces on it. That shit's going to get you put to death too. That shit ain't going to work, man. See, if the Lord's not dealing with you, you're going to die, man. It's as simple as that. 2nd Esdras chapter 5, and verse 3. And the land that thou seest now to have root shall thou see wasted suddenly. So everything you see, all this shit's going to be wasted suddenly. All his 501, his 500, S&P 500 companies, destruction. And Apostle Tahar just did a beautiful video today about you women, man. See, what you don't understand, your value goes down with that stock market, man. When that stock market crashes, your value crashes, man. You going down with this system, man. So as people lose faith in the S&P 500, as people lose faith in this false money, this false shit, your value goes down, man. You become a booty because you've given yourself over to something that doesn't matter, man. And that was I watched the video, he actually suggested it and I posted it. Okay, if you haven't seen it. But what that video is showing you, now you women are gonna y'all gonna be in limbo as this place gets worse and worse. As the iniquity starts to abound more and more. As the prophecies start to reveal itself. We're starting to see how Isaiah 4:1 is coming to place. We might not know perfectly how it's gonna happen, but we know according to the scriptures it is. And it's gonna happen on this side, not in the kingdom. It's just going to increase. It's going to start here and increase. Just like we're increasing now, this is all the way up into the kingdom, into eternity, man. Okay? 2nd Esdras 5:4. But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the 3rd trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day. Exactly, man. Fucking idiot, man. Bitch just ran a red light and almost fucking went into the car behind her, in front of her. And the blood shall drop out of the wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled. Yeah, the blood shall drop out of the wood, man. Meaning a lot of people are gonna die. Okay? Matter of fact, it says something like to the horse's horse's bridle or something like that. I forgot that precept, man. 200 furlongs or something. Let me grab that. 200 furlongs. Furlong. I don't even know if I'm spelling it right. Revelation 14 and 20, and the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. So that's talking about a lot of blood, man. That's a lot of blood. When you get into the breakdown on that, that just means it's gonna be a lot of bloodshed, man. Okay, because the blood needs to be spilled, and the Lord's gonna have all these different judgments to fulfill his will, man. It's the book of Numbers 35 in verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Exactly, by the blood by him that shed it. Esau shed a lot of blood here, man. So his blood has to be shed. And he might try it. There's nothing, you can't arm yourself well enough to get against the Lord, man. There's nothing you could do. These different chariot sightings that you're starting to see, the military's telling you they're about 1,000 years ahead of you. Well, same with the elect. They're 1,000. When the Lord puts the Spirit on them, hey, they're gonna be 1,000 years ahead of you, man. They're gonna be faster, moving quicker. It's gonna be impossible for you to mess with them. That's the type of spirit that the Lord can put on his men. That's all part of his military, man. He got the angels in heaven. He got those thermal, all these different missiles. Okay. And then he got his elect. They're gonna have the spiritual power, man. This is what we're talking about, man. Lord's will we be a part of that number, so we're gonna do you dirty, Esau. You're gonna look like a fool in these last days, man. Okay. You're gonna look like a damn fool. Okay. Let me see, did I drop that? Let me see, what other news is out there, man? Mad crazy shit going on in this world, man. And this is why this place ultimately needs to be destroyed. It says India said early Wednesday that they had conducted several airstrikes on Pakistan, hailing a victory in the name of vengeance for the terrorist attack that killed 26 civilians in Kashmir last month. But evidence was also growing that the Indian forces may have taken heavy losses during the operation. At least 2 aircrafts were said to have gone down in the Indian-controlled side of Kashmir. According to 3 officials, local news reports the accounts of witnesses who had seen the debris of 2. So, hey, there's people getting put to death. That's what happens in war. The Indian government said its forces had struck 9 sites in Pakistan and on Pakistan's side of the disputed Kashmir region, in what it described as retaliation for a terrorist attack that killed 26 civilians in Kashmir. So, and it's funny because the Pakistan ambassador over there said that the UK and Britain and America have been, for years they've been doing terrorist attacks. They were paying them to do these things. Pakistani military officials said that more than 20 people had been killed and dozens injured after 6 places were hit on the Pakistani side of Kashmir and in Punjab province. Residents of the Indian side of Kashmir said at least 10 people had been killed in shelling from the Pakistani side since India carried out its strikes. So this is, hey man, this is war, man. That's war. So you got Ukraine and Russia. You got Syria, civil war in Syria. Pretty much a civil war in Ukraine. Pretty much a civil war with India and Pakistan. You don't think this is coming here to Babylon? Come on, you gotta ask, you gotta get right. Okay? Of course it's gonna happen here too. Everything you see outside of this country is a prelude of what's gonna happen here. Isaiah 19 and verse 2, and I will set Egyptian against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So the Egyptians are you modern day Americans. Y'all gonna be fighting up against each other. Okay? That's what it is. 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, and verse 31, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. Exactly, one realm against another. Going to a kingdom against a kingdom, man. Ultimately, between Yahushua and Esau, man, and the rest of these kingdoms. That's going to be the one realm, the spiritual versus the physical, the carnal. Okay, you're going to be utterly destroyed. 2nd Esdras 15 in verse 15, actually 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And those swords, the modern day sword is the gun. So y'all gonna be fighting one against another. Okay? And that's a closer, another reason why you're gonna wanna be with a man of the Lord. Okay, that's another reason why you women are going to be 7 women shall take hold of one man. 2nd Esdras 15 and 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And Apostle Tahar, when he was going into Isaiah 4 and 1 today, he went into the Ellicott's Bible Hub, or the Endicott, or whatever his name is, and it said anarchy. Okay, and that's what this precept's talking about. Okay, so of course you women are gonna want to have some type of safety in that time, and it's not gonna come from a man with a gun, man. Okay, it's not gonna come from all of that. It's gonna come from a man of the Lord, man. Okay. 2nd Esdras 15 and 16. I'll read it again. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So you need to know that. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's go to Isaiah 4 and 1 now. Isaiah 4 and 1, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Yeah, let's be called by your name. Okay? Meaning they're going to want to be with you, man. They're gonna want to be married with you, man, because that's the only way that they're gonna be able to survive in these last days, man. Okay? They're gonna need a man of the Lord. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 17. So like here, in verse 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So it's not gonna be just any type of man. It's not gonna be some man that got dross in him. He got all these impurities inside of him. Nah, this is going to be a chosen vessel by the Lord. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 22 and verse 18. I started 17. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become dross. All they are brass and tin and iron and lead in the midst of the furnace. They are even the dross of silver. So you're going to be the dross of silver, man. Okay, most men have impurities because they don't have the truth. Okay, so they're following some type of lie. They believe in some type of falsehood. They actually think that this place is gonna last, man. They believe in guns. They believe in money. They're women. They're weak. And that's why they're going to be destroyed. And that's why you women out there, the elect lady, they're going to find a man of the Lord. They're not going to be dealing with these 2/3 Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and those speckled birds that are out there. Okay? This is the book of Ezekiel 22:19. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because ye are all become dross, behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem. Okay? Because you become dross, man. And they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace to blow the fire upon it, to melt it. So will I gather you in my anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. So you're going to melt. You're not going to make it through this adversity. Okay? He said the golden wedge of Ophir. Ultimately, if you don't make it through the fire, it's because of Jeremiah 6:30. Reprobate silver shall men call them, because the Lord have rejected them. So you've been rejected. Okay? So you're going to die, man. Because he can't do anything with you. But his men, you're starting to see a change in them, okay? They're not moving like they used to. They keep fighting that old man. They're putting that old man to death, man. They're going further into the furnace of fire. The more these tariffs start kicking in, start getting more, hey, that's more of the furnace of fire, man. Because all this paying bills, paying Esau's taxes, all that bullshit, all that shit's going to come to an end. All this shit's going to come to an end. You're not even going to be able to drive your car anymore, man. Okay? This is the book of 2 Peter. Chapter 3 and verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Exactly. Everything that you work for, it's all going to be burnt up. You got a house in the suburbs, you living next to the so-called white man, you think you're better than everybody. That shit's gonna get burnt up. You got all these different, all this shit, even the city, all these stupid high rises and that he's building along the beach, this polluted beach back here, burnt up, all of it, man. Your job, burnt up. Automation, all that shit's gonna get burnt up. Your soldiers, burnt up, okay? Talking about those Russians, man, they're not gonna regard even your children, man. They're not going to regard any of those things. Okay? 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye to be in holy conversation and godliness? What kind of person are you supposed to be right now, man? Hey, you want to be doing the duties of men. Doing what you're supposed to do. You want to be fulfilling Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. Okay? Every day. Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, and verse 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So a lot of men don't even know the law, statutes, and commandments. So how are they going to fulfill being Isaiah 13 and 12? They don't even know what this Bible's about. Okay, they believe in falsehoods, man. They're following the ways of the wicked, and they think they're going to get a righteous man's reward. Well, you're not. Okay? You ain't doing the work. You ain't listening to the videos. Hey, man, good luck. Good luck. Let's see if the Lord's going to protect you, man. Let's see if the Lord's dealing with you. This is the book of... Let me get this in the NLT. Let me get this in the NLT, man. This is the book of Luke. Chapter 11 in the NLT. In verse 17, he knew their thoughts, so he said, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A family splintered by feuding will fall apart. You say I am empowered by Satan, but if Satan is divided and fighting against himself, how can his kingdom survive? Exactly. If Satan's kingdom is divided and fighting amongst itself, how can his kingdom, let's lock it. Let me read that again. Luke 11 and 18. Luke 11 and 18 in the NLT. It says, you say I am empowered by Satan, but if Satan is dividing and fighting against himself, how can his kingdom survive? Yeah, your kingdom can't survive, man. He just put an executive order to get rid of transgenders out of his military. Well, guess what, Duck? Everybody in your military is a damn transgender, man. So you pretty much just got rid of your whole military. So what are they going to do, man? What are they going to do? Who knows? Maybe he got some right-wing supporters. He's deporting everybody, and he's getting rid of what are the transgenders going to do? They just spent all this taxpayer money to protect all these people. You just trained them up to fight. They're people too, right? Why are you throwing them? What are they going to do when they leave? And then what? Is it a dishonorable discharge? Are they still going to be a burden on the on the system? Because ultimately, that's what it is. All that money that went to go getting estrogen and all this fucking chemical warfare you did to yourself could have been used to help some of the poor people that are out here begging for change, begging for dollars. Okay, but what's gonna happen? We'll see, man. Ultimately, more civil unrest, more civil war, man. More nation against people fighting up against one another, man. It's gonna come to a head. And you women, hey, y'all gonna need a man of the Lord. All right? But I'm gonna end it right there. Lord's will, that was edifying. I wanna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak Wadash, Shalom, Baba Bal, Kwam Yasharala.